Who would have thought that a Navy admiral, a man with medals, honor, and power, would one day fall asleep on the shoulder of a single dad janitor inside an airport terminal? But what happened after that moment didn't just shock everyone around them, it changed both their lives forever. And if you're watching this, make sure you stick till the end, because this story will remind you why kindness, no matter how small, can rewrite destinies. And hey, if you feel something by the end, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. You'll want to hear more stories like this one. It was past midnight at the Baltimore airport. The rain outside tapped rhythmically against the tall glass windows, echoing through the nearly empty terminal. Ben Miller, a tired janitor in his late 30s, pushed his cleaning cart down the aisle. His back ached from double shifts, and his hands were cracked from detergent and disinfectant. Still, he smiled faintly every time his phone buzzed with a message from his 8-year-old daughter, Lily. "Daddy, don't forget my school play tomorrow," she'd texted earlier. He had promised her he'd be there, no matter what. As Ben mopped the floor near gate 14, he noticed an older man sitting quietly on one of the benches, dressed in a crisp white uniform decorated with badges. His posture was stiff at first, but exhaustion had clearly taken over him. The man's cap lay beside him, his eyes heavy. Ben, always respectful of travelers, gave a nod and kept working. But then, as the man shifted, his head slowly tilted sideways and, without warning, rested against Ben's shoulder as he stood nearby changing a trash bag. Ben froze, unsure what to do. The airport was silent. The janitor's cheap plastic gloves crinkled in his hands as he stood perfectly still. He could smell the faint scent of the man's cologne, clean, sharp, expensive. He could also see the tears that had dried on the older man's face. For a moment, Ben wanted to move, but something told him not to. Instead, he stood there, allowing the stranger, whoever he was, a few moments of rest. Maybe he needed it. 20 minutes passed before the man stirred awake. He blinked, disoriented, and looked up at Ben. I'm so sorry," he said in a deep voice, his tone filled with authority but softened by fatigue. "No problem, sir," Ben said humbly. "You must have had a long day." The man smiled faintly. "You have no idea." He paused, eyeing Ben's uniform. "You work nights here?" "Yeah," Ben replied, "and mornings too sometimes. Gotta keep up with bills. My little girl depends on me." Something shifted in the Admiral's eyes, empathy. "Single father?" he asked softly. Ben nodded. "Her mom passed away 3 years ago. It's just us now. I'm just trying to give her a better life." The Admiral straightened, studying him quietly. "What's your name, son?" "Ben Miller." The Admiral extended his hand. "Admiral Thomas Grant, U.S. Navy." Ben's eyes widened. "You're the Thomas Grant, the one who led the Pacific rescue operations." The Admiral chuckled. "Guess my face still floats around the news." They shared a quiet moment, two men from different worlds, united by something deeper than status, exhaustion, duty, and love for those they protected. The Admiral asked, "What time's your shift over?" Ben looked at the clock. "In an hour. Then I catch the bus home to tuck my girl in before school." Grant nodded slowly. "You remind me of someone I used to know, my father. He was a janitor too, worked hard, never complained." Ben smiled weakly. "I try." The next morning, Ben made it to his daughter's school play just in time. Lily spotted him in the crowd, and her eyes lit up. That look, that joy, made every sore muscle worth it. But as he clapped from the back row, he noticed something strange, two men in Navy uniforms standing near the entrance. They scanned the crowd until one of them pointed at Ben. "Mr. Ben Miller?" one asked. Ben's heart skipped. "Yes, the Admiral would like to see you." Confused, Ben followed them outside. A sleek black car was waiting by the curb. Inside sat Admiral Grant, smiling warmly. "Get in," he said. Ben hesitated. "Sir, I don't understand." Grant leaned forward. "You told me you wanted to give your daughter a better life. How'd you like to do that while working for the Navy, as part of our civilian maintenance corps? Full benefits, steady pay, better hours." Ben's jaw dropped. "Sir, I'm just a janitor." The Admiral smiled. "You're not just anything. You stood there last night without judgment, without complaint, and gave a stranger peace. That kind of heart, we need men like you in our ranks." Ben's eyes filled with tears. For years he had been overlooked, dismissed, forgotten. But now, because of a single act of quiet kindness, one tired man allowing another to rest, his life was about to change. 3 months later, Ben wore a new uniform. It wasn't fancy, but it had the Navy emblem stitched proudly on the chest. He had weekends off now, more time with Lily. And every now and then, he'd get a call from Admiral Grant checking in on them both. One evening, Ben stood at the harbor with his daughter, watching the sunset. She held his hand and whispered, "Daddy, are you happy now?" Ben smiled, his eyes glistening. "Yeah, sweetheart, I am." And in that moment, he realized something profound. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness can ripple through lives in ways you could never imagine. So if you're watching this right now, remember, it costs nothing to be kind. You never know whose shoulder you might be holding up, or how it might change your own life.